Good afternoon and happy Tuesday, LinkedIn friends, Valley First Nation. Welcome to our first episode of Valley First Platform AI Data Readiness in 2026. Here with Trisha. How you doing?
I'm good. Here we are. Feels like I've been missing you. It's been a few weeks, but I'm glad to see your face.
Well, I appreciate that, and I feel the same way. And I got together with Nico once over the holiday, and it's so interesting. Like we kind of build these relationships. I'm always a big advocate of like one of the like immeasurable things that content collaboration does is build relationships in ways that um it's hard to like recreate that any other way. And so you build friends and part of the space that we work in, everybody's digital. But when you tell like when I tell Isabel that I'm like it's New Year's Eve and I got a call with Nico today. It's like, I thought you weren't working. I'm not. It's not work. Can I just like hang out with my friends? Sorry, my friends are digital, so I can take them anywhere. But yeah. So I do. I'm excited to get back to this content schedule, if for the only reason of getting to hang out with wonderful people like yourself.
Same. I love listening to you and Nico talk about stuff.
We appreciate that, and that's why we're here on all the shows that I'm doing right now, because it's definitely we're in a moment of like show and tell, like seeing smart individuals, tech savvy individuals, still find ways to um, kind of excuse themselves from thinking that AI can be valuable, that it's ready. Like all these excuses come up in terms of why we haven't like dove in yet, and why we haven't tried it for ourselves, why we haven't experienced the value of it. I was on a client call last week, um, talking about the possibility of like a new AI role for this person in the organization who's used to managing systems, and like there's things coming up like air ops and just AI native, like all these questions. And but each organization needs somebody to kind of own like we need to leverage AI. Like our organization needs to start getting value out of AI. And if we just leave it up to everybody, like it doesn't get done. Similar to how like, you know, you might have HubSpot in your organization, but the marketing person is using it, salesperson's using it, it's like, and everybody's using it differently. Nobody's actually in charge of the success of HubSpot, and it creates a lot of issues. And this is a person who I've known to like understand the value of AI, use it a lot in terms of his personal kind of work in and out of work. But the moment we started talking about it in terms of like production environment, day to day, he was like, "Oh, it's hard to imagine like that scenario where it's in play, it's implemented, everybody on the team is using it every day." And he said, "It's just I can't see it. It's not there yet." Right? And to our point today, we are in the process of creating unified customer view for him and the organization. And guess why AI is not ready and you can't leverage it? Because your data is not together. Like, so it is very hard to see it and feel it in practice in those moments. But that's where it's like the human hubris comes in. And it's like, oh, AI must not be ready. Like now, the capability jump that we need right now is humans, like in their ability to understand what needs to be done and then understand how to use AI. So we're gonna go hard on that.
Would you also say it's a willingness to give up some control?
Certainly. Yep. Embrace uncertainty. And uh, that's, I think we mentioned on Sunday, spent some time with Nico and George. Like, one of the first things I did once I started to really understand like the possibilities is I asked AI because I like to break down status quos and the way it's always been done in software. And whenever we make decisions, like we keep it simple because humans can't handle the level of complexity. Like I want to take a step back and say, well, now AI's here. Like and one of the conversations specifically was smart part numbering versus dumb part numbering, right? Um, are you familiar with that concept?
No,
Right.
no. I mean, does that essentially have to do with having a naming convention for part numbers?
Yeah. So like if it's basically a code, like if this shirt like is for sale and you can tell by by the part number that it's yellow, it's long sleeve, like there's codes. Either there's a codex that everybody has to understand and read, or it just says yellow shirt. Like, and that's it. So that's smart in that you can read it and understand what it is
Mm-hmm.
versus
Mm-hmm.
dumb is like this shirt's 1001, next shirt's 1002,
Mm-hmm.
right? And often you want to default to smart because it becomes easier to understand and you can move faster and you don't have to like build a system to understand everything else about it. But once you add complex layers and there's 50 different attributes, and that's where you either have a super long smart part number or a super like uh codified like codex, like this
Mm-hmm.
character means this character means this character means this, right? And when I was going through that process, I was like, wait a second, all the reasons that we choose dumb part number, I'm pretty sure you can handle, right, Claude? And it was like, yep. And that was a conversation about, okay, what are humans good at? What is AI good at? And I think if any, that's a great place for anybody to start in terms of trying to figure out like where the value like can be for
Mm-hmm.
you. Because then you can do thing like uh and the other habit I'm starting to build right now is like if I get a spreadsheet and it's just like crazy, like bunch of tabs, like there's value in the data, but the work to get the value out is just immediate like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this right now. Like, and whenever I have that reaction now, I'm trying to say, wait, have I asked AI to do it yet? And it's like every time, like, and now it's done in 2 minutes instead of this
Mm-hmm.
situation where it's like, the thing would be valuable, but you put it off. And the farther it goes off, the like, we just don't get those things done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. Like, if you can kind of hack your way into like, whenever you have those moments of, man, this thing is going to be really hard. Like, and I think that's the difference between AI native and not, right? Like, and I'm trying to work hard in Q1 of this year. So all the content, I'm sorry, might be repetitive, but like unified customer view, AI native, like value path, like if we can rally around these principles. And so what do I mean by AI native and not AI first, right? Which the outcome is similar, but trying to avoid like, oh, if AI is first, then humans can't be like first, right? And it causes this conversation about, oh, we're going to be humans first. Well, you need to be prioritizing AI like sometimes, right? So that's why I'm distinction between AI first and AI native. AI native versus, let's say, industrial native. I've got to do some work with Claude to figure out what's the opposite. But this industrial age mindset where when you see AI, you're asking it to do things like write better emails, or this thing that we've always done, help me do that faster, more of it, whatever, versus AI native is maybe I don't have to send emails anymore. Maybe it can be completely hands off. Maybe I can do this other thing instead. And I think that can be a great filter for people too, because there's so much noise. And the reason that we're here, and I'm going to be relentless on the content, is there's so much use case information out there right now about how you should be getting value out of AI. But when you don't have your own data house in order, or your people aren't trained, like it could be the exact same business in the exact same position. We did this, got a bunch of value. That doesn't mean I'm anywhere close to being able to do the same thing. Right. And so if you can look at that, like, and say, is that an AI native business or not? Or are we an AI native business or not? It like changes the way you even can look at things like HubSpot and the way you can use it. So I'm fired up in 2026, Trisha.
I'm too. Would you say AI native? Okay, so one of the things that quite frankly shocked me was when you built the Value First website using Claude instead of using Claude to tell HubSpot how to build it. Like, I was just like, what are you doing? Wait, you can do that? Wait, what are you doing? Why would you do that? So when I think about like embracing giving up control and like doing it the way that we've always done it, that's kind of an example of what I'm thinking of is you really have to relook at even how you're even what systems you're leveraging and how you're leveraging them, because everything is really under question.
Yeah, and it needs to be, right? Like in the same moments, I'm like, if it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can take a step and take a step back, and like if it is hard, should we even be trying to do that thing anymore? I'm talking to Ryan Ginsberg and Casey a lot of like I'm making an assumption at this point. Like if there's a problem and you go to reporting or to workflows, it's almost always tech debt, like that you're building out in the moment. And if you can say like that hard thing, like, is there an easier way to do that? Often in HubSpot, it's using the data model like a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now you're not in this space building, which has been interesting to watch. Like, I mean, that's the community of SaaS. Like we build products to try and solve problems, but most of the problem, that's where it's a human capability layer. Like that's a gap right now. You can't build products to help, like, to get a team to trust like AI. So that's where I'm like, so we talk about AI data readiness. Like, what does that even mean? Right. So trying to find ways to pick goals where it's like, oh, we know what that means. Right. Like unified customer view as an example. So I would love to walk you through the unified customer view playbook that is currently on the valuefirstteam.com website. So if you want to go to the website and then share your screen.
I was already there. Oh, I'll go to the homepage. That's what I'll do.
All right. So if you click on content, and if anybody's interested, like Trisha mentioned, didn't build this in HubSpot. Like in October, I was a ride or die HubSpot websites guy. In November,
only January.
Right, November 8th is when Nico unlocked my brain. And this platform, I'm referring to it as, like, has been being built out since then,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is a very specific, wide use case in mind, in that I've gotten good at showing up all the time to have long conversations. What I've never been good at is repurposing the content, developing other forms of content to help educate on these concepts. And now with this platform, and the reason it was easy to move away from HubSpot is that every idea, now that this platform exists, every idea can just immediately become a digital experience. And once it's there, now it can easily become a video. Even there's a way to code videos like into, it's wild. But like every weakness like I've had in the past, of because I don't like doing on-demand video for whatever reason. I can't get myself to do some of that. And that's happening a lot right now. There's a new beta with HubSpot where exactly what I asked for, the video team has provided in terms of recording videos from HubSpot, right? And this cycle keeps happening where it's like, all right, I've got a reason to go back into HubSpot and like give it the old college try. And I went and I recorded, one video. It was okay. It was like early beta, right? And then 3 days later, Ryan Ginsberg gives me this link to Remotion that is like uses React to code a video into existence. And that solves for my on-demand video like thing that I want to be doing, because I also used 11 Labs to do a voice clone, and it's on the money in terms of how good it is. Anyways.
Okay, I have to do a plug here. If you're doing voice cloning, you should also be looking at InWorld.
Okay. I mean, I'm sold though. Like for me, I'm sold. Like, and that's where all of the work I've done, like content wise, I did one series in March of last year, which was the first 11 episodes of Value First, whereas the only time I've ever scripted the entire series, right? It was just me talking at the camp, basically keynote style. And because I could give over 2 hours of that audio to 11 Labs, it took 15 minutes to import it, and then a couple hours for it to come back. And I could believe the results. It still like felt really awesome though. So the ability to recreate and repurpose and try any way possible to start to get these messages through is how I kind of see this platform. So on that note, we see here the four views, right? That I'm going to be hammering over the next, few months, because it is something I've found that people who don't really care about HubSpot and how it works, like business leaders often, these are goals, and actually measurable goals, not in the same way we talk about measuring goals. It's a yes or no answer for each of these. It's something that they can get behind because it's very obvious in terms of like what it would mean. Like unified customer view. I don't have to explain those words, right? An example of the power of that in Sprocketeer, this came up, and he said, I feel like unified data context is yesterday's master data management, right? And my point is, like, unified data is like, I don't have to explain that as much as I might have to explain master data. So all of this is like kind of revolving around just using simpler language to get alignment. So scroll up, if you would. And so that is the hack I'm going to try and use in terms of to get to AI data readiness. Can we just get to unified customer view? And now because we have human data readiness now, AI will also like be able to leverage your data. So under content, go to playbooks.
Ooh, this
And
is new.
let's click on unified customer view. And so Trisha's never seen this before.
No, this is cool. I love a playbook.
Yeah. And again, this is the kind of thing like when I first made this with Claude, it was a markdown doc. And I had no plans of putting it on a website. But then like one of the unlocks was when Casey like built her holiday office checklist. And we were just like, okay, I wonder if I could just put that on the site. And I was like, yep, and it's interactive and we'll save for you. Working on the ability to save it like into the Value First HubSpot so you can save and come back to it later. And so before you begin, this playbook will guide you through configuring HubSpot for complete customer visibility. Before we start, let's make sure you have everything you need.
You want me to do this now?
If you wouldn't mind like talking through these things, if they make sense.
I mean, do we need to talk through them?
I mean, if they're obvious.
Those feel really self-explanatory to me.
Right. Good. That's the idea. I will highlight that often when starting, like that first checkbox, right, that you checked.
Mm-hmm.
When people come, like especially to Profoundly, I've been in several conversations, like you say, we need help with HubSpot, clean up our HubSpot, optimize HubSpot. And then you ask them what HubSpot they have.
Mm-hmm.
And they cannot answer the question without going to look, right? It's like,
Right.
oh, we use tickets, so we must have Service Hub. Like, nope, that's not how that works. So literally trying to like just not take anything for granted. So often like permission structures are the reason you can and can't get help, or the reason like your team isn't using it the way that you expect them to.
Mm-hmm.
So handling the basics on page 1 here. Ooh. Team member identified.
I mean, got to stop here. Got to go identify the person. There's no person identified.
Yeah. Oh, that's you, consultant. You're supposed to do this. No, I'm not using your
No,
unified views daily,
no,
right?
no. That has to be your organizational champion, right? The one who buys into this view, I think, is the same person as team member identified.
Right. And here's where like the nuance is, depending on how you use HubSpot and who's using HubSpot, every individual using HubSpot needs a unified view when they're trying to do their job. Right. So this is where part of what I'm trying to do this month is like validate like how this playbook runs.
Mm-hmm.
But like at least one person who actually needs a unified view, right? Because often,
Oh,
right, like
so this should be one other person who needs the view.
no, I think it's use.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where like an admin can't decide like it's hard for an admin to decide this on behalf of the sales rep if you're not like asking them about what they need to see as they reach out to customers, as they do follow-ups, right? And a couple times it happened last year where it was clear that HubSpot wasn't actually business critical for any process at all. It was just capturing random data from emails, and that's where you get to really quickly with a question like this. Oh, nobody like actually needs it to get their job done, right? So I think finding these like the little yes, no, like, no, we don't even have anybody who needs this goal that we think is a good idea. Like that's problem number one, because that like leads to less engagement during any kind of process. And HubSpot, it's not for me. And I've learned to kind of try and be empathetic to if HubSpot's not required to get their job done, we should not be blaming them for not using HubSpot, right? No matter how much time it thinks we can save them. Yeah. So teams aligned, agreement on which customer-facing teams need visibility. Are they in HubSpot or not? This is interesting. They all need the visibility. And this gets to like the source of truth conversation. Like let's say you have a team that's marketing in HubSpot, sales is in Salesforce, customer success is in Gainsight. Everybody likes their system.
Product is in Linear.
Yep. And that's where I'm glad you brought that one, because the first three are the customer like facing org. And it would be nice to have them all in HubSpot. But if you don't, they all need the unified customer view, which means all three systems need to be tightly integrated, and accepting the fact that, okay, you work out of this system, that means the unified customer view needs to be here, but it can't possibly be the same view as in HubSpot because they're not the same systems. Right. And what a recent story is like, so in those situations, like, okay, we need one source of truth. Like, first of all, that's the wrong path to get on. Like the whole system needs to be considered the source of truth. And then whoever's using it, wherever, it's their source of truth. But instead, we create like data lakes and like Snowflake, for example. But then since we haven't solved for this alignment, teams will cherry pick the data that they want to go into that place, which defeats the purpose of trying to create like the unified view. Because inevitably, like there's two reasons we leave data out. And the first innocent reason is we don't know the other team needs it. Second one, not so innocent, I don't trust the other team to see that data and not do things I don't want them to do. Very common between marketing and sales and between sales and service. So agreement on which teams need visibility. Systems documented. Man, we're not in good shape here, Trisha. Like, which systems are currently holding customer data, even informal ones?
Gosh, all of them. And probably a few you're not even aware of.
Yep. And to help ease the shock of what it takes to do unified customer view, it's not new, right? Unified customer view is a concept, and it actually exists at various points in time in the organization. It's just usually like day before a board meeting, we're collecting all the data from everywhere, systems, spreadsheets, emails, and heads, brains of the people. And then one person is collecting all the slides together. And then in that moment in time, we have a unified customer view. But obviously it's out of date like immediately. And so we're doing it. Like people have to have this to do their jobs effectively and to communicate like customer state. So that's where even informal ones, most often it's brains of the people that are working with customers. And time available. Like again, like the consultants and coaches cannot do this for you. Do you have time to do the work?
This is already feeling like a huge hurdle.
Yep. This is why you do need help.
This box is hard.
Right.
First box was easy. This one hard.
Right. I think it's no surprise I like where this is going, because what we've seen and like the gut reaction is to build often tech debt, solve for these things. Or that the person that you're asking for help can just come in, do a systems audit without you involved, and then give you an action plan. And then they're going to clean up the data too, because we all have fancy technology. We can just export everything, clean it, and then bring it back in. Now we're going to have a clean, like, no, that never works ever. So these commitments, I think, like organizational readiness is exactly right. Let's see what we got under data readiness. Confirm you have the baseline data needed to build on. Contact records exist, even if incomplete. Company
Most
records.
people do have this and this. That's pretty easy.
Yep. Test cases identified. At least 10 good customer records to use for testing. Yeah, like when we start from a place of let's get the Zoom info data like process cleaned up. Like let's fix this problem that's being created by data that has not created any value for the organization up to this point, but we think it will. Meanwhile, there's this boatload of like customer data of things that have actually happened, like black and white data that we could use to start to develop and actually create a view where it's like, okay, this is true. Like starting to build a trusted view from the get-go is important.
These test cases, are they supposed to be examples? Oh, it says right there, good customer records. So we're not looking for examples of where the data is not unified already.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We're trying to start on some kind of known ground. And that's where usually there is. Like, so good could even mean like an incomplete contact record that Trisha is right around the corner and can come in and complete it like in 3 minutes because all the data's in the head. Like sometimes it's a combination of those things. Somebody who knows how to get it good, I think is probably where a lot of people are. This last one's probably a curveball for most. So I'll probably work on this language. Claude likes to make a distinction between native and custom and object library stuff as if that's something that users care about. And they don't.
They don't.
So this probably needs to be like customization versus not, and just understanding the data model is probably better worded as like data model documentation or something.
Okay. So you think having a data model documented is part of the data readiness step?
Yes. Yeah. At least current state. And also like to get to the customer view, like future state, you're going to have to do some data model, have some data model fun for sure. And it could start, it's probably starting from a place of like deals. Like, okay, we use that. What do we use it for? Well, it's 15 stages and it starts in sales. And then like we need this other team to do some stuff. So we've got a task stage. And then it comes back to sales. And then we need to manage our post-sales process somehow. So that's the last 5 stages. And all of a sudden, like you can't document what the deal is actually used for, who owns it, like all these things. Last section here. All right. You can still continue, but you may encounter blockers. If you haven't verified all requirements, we recommend addressing any unchecked items before proceeding. Fairly simple, I think. I don't know.
I'm with you on this. I understand the request. But this is a piece that most people, when they see playbook, they think, oh, here's something I can start right now today. And I think well, I mean, I don't know another way that you would do it, but one of the worst things to be faced with when you're ready to get started on something right away is to find out that you're not ready to get started. Hate that.
Yep.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. Like, so what do we do instead? We try to find the quick wins and these, like, this checklist of things that we can get done. Meanwhile, 3 months later, we don't have any idea what value is happening. We know emails are going out. Like we check those boxes. We got leads coming in, but nobody's in charge of the situation, right? To make sure that work that we did. So I think a challenge for everyone in 2026 is like, can you sit down and get this stuff done like first? Like this is why I say things like HubSpot's not the problem. Like AI is not the problem. Like so many teams, like if that first one's a blocker, like I'm sorry, we need to handle that one first. I think there's a bridge to be like, and a lot of people offer this as services, like to be that person, like embedded in the org. Pretty hard to make that sustainable, but works when that person can understand the business, like over time. But that's why like it needs to be somebody on the inside. And I think there's moments like this where you start to find ways to leverage AI to free the person up in ways that they can spend time on being this person. So what do you think? We got a chance here?
We got a chance. I mean, this steps right here, it feels daunting just because you need to take a big step back. And it means that you have to have organizational alignment around the importance of a unified customer view. If you're not starting with that, it's really hard to identify the people who are going to be using it and have alignment over which teams are going to be using it. But if you have that alignment to begin with, these become pretty, I mean, this is not a big task, completing this section, but you have to start with convincing the org that this is what you need, which is the biggest task of all.
Yeah. So what I'm feeling is that we need some links and resources on how to get those things done. Probably somewhere in here. And
you have, well, HubSpot has a data model map, right?
Yep.
So
I think
if this is what I think it is, I think you could just put a link or instructions on how to find that within HubSpot. But what if they haven't implemented yet?
Then there's a data model designer on this platform. There's a couple spots.
I found that earlier today. Data model designer right here.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you on our call today, Chris, how do you help visualize a data model for a company that doesn't have HubSpot yet? And I was poking around here and look what I found. It's like you anticipated every need.
And at the end of the day, I'm just like building stuff that I need to help. And that's where I'm happy that you saw that. I'm not sure. I'm hopeful that this button works. Did it work?
Well,
I probably asked you to log in.
It sent me a link, which I haven't had a chance to open yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the meantime, if you go to Learn Education Hub, and at the top, actually in the nav under implementation, on data model examples, and scroll down so you can see the value first data model here. And so this takes you through the objects involved, the pipelines involved, the properties. But you're on the right track of going to the data model designer.
I know that there's a thing that you have in here already that shows you the actual, it's a visual of how all the objects relate together. So how do you get there from here?
So go back a couple of times. One more time. Main site. Under help, click on services. A little bit of a long walk, sorry. Scroll down to the tier 3 services. So implement at the bottom of this. Click on view all tier 3 services. And scroll down in the middle of this page somewhere. Or actually, you got to click on that one. The top one.
Which one? This one?
HubSpot Customer Value Platform. Yep. Scroll down, and it's in the middle of the page here somewhere.
Here.
That one. Yep.
For some reason, when we were looking at the existing data models, I thought it was going to open this view of the example models.
Yeah, I started to do that, but then, all of this is helpful feedback. Does it do anything if you click on it? Yeah, there we go. The thing on the right shows up. And again, this is where I'd like to get to. If you don't have your data model documented, there you go. What should we use in a deal for? It's right here. Full description, what this enables, common configurations. Right. So this will probably be coming up in the playbook. But do you think this is a valuable activity to help people get AI data ready?
I think it is, and I think it's also very eye-opening in terms of people have to start
Awesome.
helping really understand what AI data readiness means. And I'm also going to use the tool this week, the data model designer, and I'll let you know what I think of that.
Sounds good. So until next week, thanks so much, Trisha. See you next
Thank
time.
you. See ya.